A very good morning to all of you. I am C. Ridhima Bhatia, your faculty for income tax paper for taxation. So up till now, we've been discussing the basic concepts and the residential status. And today we start with chapter 3, incomes which do not form part of total income. This is also commonly called as exempt income. Just one second. Yeah. So I give you time to settle in. I hope everyone has a festive fever down a bit. So now back to studies, back to the focus point now. So settle in and we'll start with our today's chapter, exempt income. Happy New Year, Petla Wadla. Happy New Year, everyone. So today, Dinesh is asking me, is today my last session. So today, as per the schedule on the website, yes, if you have any doubts with the chapters we have covered till now and today, you can ask it. And whenever I'll be back, I'll be happy to take the other doubt. Dinesh passed foreign untaxed income brought to India during the previous year. Why is it not taxable? It would not have been foreign untaxed, it would have been taxed somewhere. It is just being brought to India, it is remitted to India, it is neither received or accrued in India, hence it is not getting taxed. Illustration 8, 1 second, I'll open the residential question wala part. Just give me a moment. I'll share my screen 1 second again. Yeah. So we had this query, income from profession in Kenya, which was set up in India, received there but spent in India. So basically, this is an income from business or profession outside India, controlled from India. Controlled from India. It is accrued outside India, but it is just controlled from India. It is received outside India, but spent here in India is like remitted back. So now first I see whether it was received in India, yes or no. No. Whether it was accrued in India, yes or no. No. So hence non-resident case it will not be taxable. Then I see whether the business which was accrued outside India, whether it was controlled from India, yes. That means resident and resident but not ordinarily resident case may be, it would be taxable. And obviously for resident, the global incomes are tax which are accrued or received during the year. Clear? Whose doubt was this? Alok, I hope it is clear. Fourteen and 15. Which are point 14 and 15? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anesh, this is for you. Income from agricultural land in Nepal received there and then brought to India. The land is where? Nepal. Accrued outside India. Received outside India. Only remitted back in India. Received and remittance, I told you in the first class itself, is different. So received, it is neither received in India, nor accrued in India, nor controlled from India. It would be not be taxed here, which is in RNOR or non-resident category. It will only be taxed as a global income for a resident. Whose Petla see holding company is in India, that means it's an Indian company, that it would be a resident in India. For the subsidiary of it, which is in USA, you have to apply the POEM test. If its POEM is in India, it would be a resident. If its POEM is not in India, it would be non-resident. Every company has to be seen independently. Merely it being a subsidiary of a resident company does not make it a resident. So shall we now proceed to our today's topic? I hope, see, this makes me very happy that you people are asking questions. That means you people are actually practicing, which is very, very good, very, very commendable. See, at the end of the day, I say it to everyone, whether it's inter-level or advanced Europe. Final level, it is always about putting in efforts. Yatiraj More, please hold your horses today. We'll come to your question. So always remember, first identify the residential status. You'll get to know the scope of total income. Based on that scope of total income, tax the person. That entire income would be taxable for resident, which is accrued and received during the year. And for non-resident, only the accrued and received in India income would be taxable. And for resident and not ordinary resident, accrued and received India income plus income accrued outside India, received outside India, but from a business controlled in India. It can be received anywhere though, but yeah, accrued outside India, received outside India from a business controlled in India would be taxable in India. Just remember these 3 points and you will be good to go. So now to today's topic, which is your exempt income. Now, you will see, ma'am, the chapter's name is incomes which do not form part of total income. वो income जो total income का part नहीं बनते. I just said it in Hindi, but this is called your total income. This word, that means it is not my taxable income. Can you say yes? It is not being taxed, or hence you use the term exempt. Not taxable ki jagah we use the word exempt income, that these income are exempt from tax. In पे tax nahi lagega. So we use the word exempt income. This is another chapter altogether in your income tax. Remember I told you Income Tax Act is divided into chapters, which are further divided into sections, further divided into subsections or clauses, and further divided into subclauses. So exempt income chapter here where we cover under section 10 different types of incomes. As a student, remember in the first class I told you the difference between the clause and section and subsection. Always remember, before I proceed, this is section 10 A and this is section 10A. But difference is this is section 10 clause A. This is section 10A itself. इस section का नाम ही 10A है, which may further have subsection 1 or sub clause 2, anything. So this in itself is section 10 44A, and this is section 10 clause A. Income tax have sections not only from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has 30, say suppose it has 35, then it has 35AB, AA. All of these things go on. Okay. Similarly, 44 in numerical and alphabetical orders it goes. So 44AA, then there's 44AB. So these are sections. These are not clauses. This AA or AB is not clauses. Okay. This is just to give you an example. So why I'm saying it, you will see in the duration of the class, there would be reference to these types of sections or clauses. Okay. So now I was saying you about exempt income, exempt income, exempt income. But there are two words which are going to be very commonly being followed: exemption and deduction. Exemption word and deduction word. What is the difference between these two terms which are written here? Are they same? Can we use the word interchangeably in tax? No. Exemption is basically that income would not be taxable, hence it will not come to by total income. Remember, I told you the incomes are computed by 1 head, 2 head, 3 head, 4 head, and 5 heads. We have 5 heads of income. Unka sum becomes my total income. And then there are certain deductions from the total income. So first I have to compute the total income, then I get deductions. And then I get my taxable income. This is my gross total income, you can say. From that, I reduce deductions which are allowable, and then I come to taxable income. See, both have an impact on making your taxable income less, but both are different. This is not taxable at all. So, yahan pe in the heads itself, you will reduce such income which is not taxable. So, exempt incomes are not taxable at all. So, they are, yes, there are partial exemption, there's total exemption, which you'll be seeing, but yeah, it does not come here in my gross total income, because here only you have removed the taxability. In the various heads itself, you have removed the taxability. But yeah, the deductions may first gross total income may everything is added, and deductions may then it is removed. So gross total income may that part of income would have definitely be taxable, and then the deduction is given. And then you come to the taxable income. But for deductions, yes, you can say again, I'm saying, ma'am, tax to nahi laga. See, tax nahi laga. But the point here is here income is getting exempt as a whole. Here deductions are from the gross total income. The major two differences are this. Exemptions generally in income tax are covered under section 10. Yes, you have certain exemption in section 54. You'll see. But what all are covered under section 10. 10 clause A, 1, 2, 3, and going on like that. And your deductions are covered under chapter 6A majorly. Chapter 6A, which goes from 80C to 80U sections. So दोनों में difference is very important. You cannot use the word exemption की place में deduction or deduction की place में exemption. Exemptions means income not getting taxable. Deductions means from the total income which is now taxable, which is now computed, you are reducing the deductions. So this has to be very clear. Okay. Now what we'll do today, we'll be covering the list of certain exemptions which are given under section 10. Section 10 is again huge. It has n number of exempt incomes, like not n numbers. Yes, they are countable, but there are many exemptions given under section 10. That means many incomes are not taxable, are not included in my total income, are not included my total income. So we'll be doing those. But since you're at inter level, number one, there are just listed exemptions which are given in your module, only those exemptions which you have to cover. There are many exemptions. The same chapter would be extended a bit when you are in the final level. You will see the first three chapters are same in the final also. The names are same, but yes, the coverage has been extended at the final level. So here, please do not see if you have any notes or some other teacher or whatever. Please focus on the sections which are given here in your module, in your study material. Please focus on only those exempt income. So basically what I'll be teaching today, only those exempt income you have to cover. Certainly, as I told you, so the exempt income gets reduced from the head itself, and then you come to the total income. So from the head, there are certain incomes where you will be studying it in their particular heads. In the particular heads, you will be studying those exemptions. They are also section 10 exemption, but considering the connectivity of the topic, they are covered under the particular heads. Like salaries, there are many exemptions which are covered. Capital gains, there are exemptions which are covered. Income from other sources, exemption is covered. So all these exemptions are covered in the respective heads. And deduction ke liye, you have separate chapter altogether. So ma'am, today what we'll be doing are those common exemptions which are not related to any specific heads of income or are very common and can be done today. And then as we move to understand the heads of income, usme you will be covering all other exemptions. The exemptions I'm repeating again, which are given in your study material, are only relevant to your exam. Please do not overboard on these incomes. Okay. Any confusion up tak? Maima, I told you in the class also, section chapters are divided into section. Uske baad you have to see whether the parts of the sections are interlinked, then they become subsections. If they're not interlinked, they become clauses. Very good, Pranev. Absolutely correct. See, if there's a deduction, you have to add. There is nothing added there. It is taxable. And then you're getting a benefit of it by reducing the deduction amount. Okay. प्रियंका, sections जितना आपको याद हो सकता है, only write those. Only the section which you can remember, write those. There is no need to conjust your mind with the remembrance of sections, which are very important sections. I always tell you that you have to remember those sections no matter what. Otherwise, remembering the section, the subsection, or the clauses at this level, you are exempted from that. But at final level, we expect you to know it. Okay? Chalo, good. Thank you. So students, right now, up till now, you were studying about a periphery which was created for the income tax. Okay, what are the concepts? Then we covered residential status, then we covered scope of total income. Now, when we understood scope of total income, we are again covering to a closer depth of tax, the exempt income. And then you will see the taxable heads, income which are taxable under the various heads. So first, now we understand today the income which are not taxable at all. So first and the most and the very, very important section, which is section 10 clause 1, which is agricultural income. Remember, I told you the constitution gives no right in the union list to tax agricultural income. The central government has no power to levy tax on the agricultural income because agriculture being the backbone of Indian economy, we do not levy tax on this. So hence agricultural income is exempt from tax. Hence agricultural income is exempt from tax. The question comes here is, what is agriculture? What is agricultural income? everything cannot be agricultural income. If you grow anything in your house and you are selling it off and earning some income, it cannot be agricultural income. So yes, there is certain definition of agricultural income, but there is no definition of agriculture in the Income Tax Act. In the Income Tax Act, we have been defined agricultural income, which is defined in the definition section, which is section 2 clause 1A. Section 10 clause 1 tells me that agricultural income is not taxable. But what is actually agricultural income? For that, I go to the definition which is given in section 2. So section 2 gives me agricultural income ka definition. Section 10 clause 1 tells me that agricultural income is exempt. But now to the question is, what is agriculture? That is not defined, but we know agriculture is doing any activity which is connected to land, which will ultimately give me some kind of produce, and it involves definitely human and automatic skills. Okay. But what is agricultural income? Let's understand it. But when I talk about agricultural income, students, I only talk about agricultural income in India. I am not talking about agricultural income outside India. They're not levying the tax on the agricultural income which is of India. So hence, if you have any agricultural income outside India and you are an ROR, it would be taxed in India. It would be taxed in India. So now let's understand the definition. Understanding the definition is a very critical point here. First is agricultural income may arise in any of the following three ways. First is it may be rent or revenue derived from land situated in India and used for agricultural purposes. So now I have to think myself as Mr. X, who is deriving what? Rent or revenue from a land which is in India and is used for agriculture purposes. So what it's qualifying as, it is rent or revenue plus land in India plus the land is used for agriculture purposes, then only that rent income would be my agricultural income. So I have given a farm, a land of me to some other person who is doing agricultural activities on it, and I'm getting the rent from it. That rent is my agricultural income. Had I given this land for some other purpose other than agriculture and I would have received rent on it, that would not have been agricultural income. For example, I have khet, you people understand, agricultural land, farmlands I have, okay. That I have given, one part I have given, this is my khet, farmland, okay. So this part I have given to Sham, he does farming here. And this part I have given to one production house who is shooting here. Now you will say कि मैम खेत है तो कुछ भी income आ रही है तो it would be agricultural income. No, Sham gives me rent. That rent is agricultural income because Sham is using that land for agriculture purpose. Production house is using this land for other than agriculture purpose, which is shooting of film. So whatever production house gives to me as rent would not be agricultural income. It would be taxed as income under the respective head. But what is Sham giving me? Because the land is used for agriculture purpose, it would be agricultural income and hence exempt. Clear? Rent or revenue. Rent or revenue can be any rent which you're paying for the taxes, or revenue can be the fees, any fees related to that land. Also, I can receive this in cash or in kind. Because Sham is a farmer, he may not have cash. He gives me gunny bags of his produce. So जितना उनको उगता है वो मुझे दे देते हैं as rent. That means, no, don't think I'm a cruel person, but he is giving me rent in kind. He's giving me his produce. So that is also rent. And if I sell that produce, that is also an agricultural income. Okay. So first is rent or revenue derived from land situated in India. Second is income derived from such land by agriculture. By agriculture means by doing any agricultural operations, if you're deriving any income from doing agriculture operations, that can be basic operations and that can be subsequent operations. What can be basic and what can be subsequent? Sorry, basic operations like which are very, very, very necessary for getting the produce. For getting the produce, which are the basic primary functions or absolutely necessary functions for growing the produce from the land, like sowing, plowing. Actually, I don't even have the good term used for this. Plowing, sowing of seed, these are all basic operations. What are subsequent operations? Subsequent operations mean taking proper care of that land, fertilizing it, digging it, weeding it. These are called subsequent operations, which are followed by the basic operations, followed after the basic operations, and which are also necessary for it, but these are incidental to your basic operations. Okay, so by doing any such activity, if you're deriving any income, it would be your agricultural income. Next definition says it may be income derived from such land by the performance of a process ordinarily employed by a cultivator or receiver of rent in kind to render the produce fit to be taken to the market. Now, the other part is very confusing. Abhi tak what we understood, rent or revenue derived from land in India used for agriculture purpose. Then we understood any income derived from agriculture. Agriculture में basic and subsequent operations both. Next is income derived from such land. From such land by performance of process ordinarily employed. Process ordinarily employed by a cultivator. Cultivator here means sham, or receiver of rent in kind. Receiver of rent in kind means person like me or Mr. X who was receiving the produce in kind as rent to render the produce fit to be taken to the market. So hence they are saying any income which you are getting through the process which is generally employed on that produce to make it fit to be sold in the market, that income is called agricultural income. See, the idea is to keep it as agricultural as it be. The more it gets commercialized, your essence is getting lost of it being an agricultural income, and hence it will not be completely taxable as agricultural income. Jahan pe, I'm not saying the profit and loss wala part. No, profit and loss ho sakta hai. I'm not saying it's a non-profit thing. No, I'm saying the moment any manufacturing comes into picture, any other than ordinary process comes into picture, you have to identify very carefully that whether that part is agricultural income or not. The moment any manufacturing comes, the agricultural sector is different, manufacturing sector is different, right? The moment any commercialized stuff comes, the moment any manufacturing comes, or the moment any extra marketing efforts comes in, that means it's not the pure essence of agriculture. It's not the pure essence of agriculture, and hence that part of income would not be agricultural income. So only income which is coming from the ordinary process. Ordinary process means with the process which are ordinary and again necessary to make the produce fit to be taken to the market is called, and whatever income would come would be called agriculture income. Ma'am, example. So suppose आपने paddy fields देखे. Paddy fields are for rice. These are wet, damp fields. Okay, the paddy field cannot be sold to the market or cannot be sold to the market in its paddy form. You first have to take that paddy out. You have to bring that rice grain out of it, and from bringing the rice grain from paddy, the process involves lot of stages, paddy से एक rice grain आने में it involves lot of stages. That process is agricultural process, which because that is important to bring, that is necessary to bring that rice into a form that can be sold into the market. You cannot sell paddy into the market, right? आपको rice market में sell करने के लिए you have to take the grains from that paddy, you have to remove the excess part, you have to clean it, you have to remove the stones, you have to pack it in the bag so that you can sell it into the market. यहाँ पे I cannot say that it's a commercial manufacturing process going on. No, it's a basic process which is very necessary to send it to the market, and it involves various stages. One is on land and other is after land also to bring that grain out of it. Correct? So वहाँ से paddy से लेके rice तक आने वाला part is definitely an agricultural income, though it has various processes, but those processes are important to make that produce fit to be taken to market. But now once I have rice grain, if I'm now making it to a premium quality of basmati and all those stuff, that is not the basic agriculture operations. I'm preserving it to some other level, I'm making it long, whatever the stuff. है मैं एक बार फिर से शेयर कर देती हूँ. Am I audible now? Is PPT is being shown? The next time से कुछ ऐसा हो तो please give me a call so that I also know where to stop. Welcome back, students. I hope I am visible now. There was a technical glitch at back end, which is now being resolved. Thank you so much. So where were we? I hope you got 5 minutes mini break. No worries. Yeah. Thank you. Now we be back to the aspect we were covering. So, Ramchandra, your question is very much valid. Central government cannot tax the agricultural income. State government do have the right to tax agricultural income, but they do not tax it at all. Why so? Because they will not do that in the Income Tax Act first. They will do it in some other act or some other section or some other type of tax. Why are they not doing it? Pretty obvious reason, because agriculture population is their main source of vote, and obviously they do not want to burden them by putting additional taxes on them. So now to the concept again. So I was saying you that any process which is being performed to bring that particular produce in a saleable form is agricultural income. So that processes are the processes which would qualify for the process of agriculture. Any income derived from that processes or from the sale of that produce would be your agricultural income. This is what your point 2B and C says. Okay, so these both are in correlation. But again and again, I'm saying the necessary process. The commercial processes are not your agricultural process, and hence any income derived from those processes would not qualify to be your agricultural income. Okay. Now, someone asked, ma'am, sugar cane se sugar banana is not agricultural income? Definitely not. Sugar cane, it's a raw form. It's my agriculture produce. sugarcane tak, that point is my agriculture step को qualify करना. Anything more than that would not qualify as an agricultural income. Will come to that. Now you will say, ma'am, how ultimately this difference would come, how you have to calculate the difference. It's a basic maths thing. यहाँ तक whatever income is having, any expenses which are there, reduce it. Sale amount and income amount, reduce it, you will get your agricultural income. Beyond this point, sale amount, reduce the cultivation expenses, reduce your all manufacturing expenses, you will get non-agricultural income. Simple sa point. So someone asked me, ma'am, to please sum up in Hindi, jitna process is required, जो भी process आपको जरूरी है कि वो एक प्रोड्यूस अपनी रॉ फॉर्म में सेल हो जाए. अगर वो रॉ फॉर्म में नहीं सेल होता तो एटलीस्ट ऐसी फॉर्म में आना जिससे वो एक मार्केटेबल कमोडिटी बन जाए. ओनली उस फॉर्म तक जो प्रोसेस होते हैं वो एग्रीकल्चरल इनकम के लिए क्वालिफाई होते हैं. उसके बाद वाला कोई प्रोसेस होता है वो एग्रीकल्चरल इनकम के लिए क्वालिफाई नहीं होते. ओके, सो with this let's do one question and you will understand how the agricultural income is for this particular B and C can be understood. C part or the third part of the definition is still left to be done, but first focus on B and C. Mr. B grows sugarcane and uses the same for the purposes of manufacturing sugar in his factory. Now, Mr. B क्या कर रहे हैं? Sugarcane produce करते हैं, उसको अपनी factory में he use it for producing the sugar. 30% of the sugarcane produced is sold for 10 lakhs and the cost of cultivation of such sugarcane is 5 lakhs. Now, this 30% produce is selling for 10 lakhs, the cost of cultivation is 5 lakhs. So, if I talk about agricultural income, one is this 30% which is sold as it is. उसका इनकम पार्ट कितना हुआ, कॉस्ट कितना हुआ, सेल प्राइस माइनस कॉस्ट. सो 10 lakhs माइनस 30% का 10 lakhs माइनस 5 lakhs. 5 lakhs. This is my agricultural income. Okay. Now next part. The cost of cultivation of the balanced sugarcane is 14 lakhs. And the market value of the same is 22 lakhs. Okay. After incurring 1.5 lakhs in the manufacturing process on the balanced sugarcane, the sugar was sold for 25 lakhs. Now, what has happened for the remaining 70%? Please listen here. Remaining 70% के लिए what happened? Obviously, एक sugarcane stage तक तो process हुआ है. Like this is your cultivation cost of the 70% of the sugarcane. So if that sugarcane would have been sold as it is without doing any commercial process of making it into the sugar, without doing any manufacturing process to make it into the sugar, that sugarcane would have fetched 22 lakhs. The market value of the same would have been 22 lakhs. मतलब अगर मैं उस पे और process नहीं करती और उसको as it is बेच देती तो मेरे को कितना मिलता? 22 lakhs. But what I did, I incurred more expenses on the manufacturing to make it into sugar. Now the point comes here, the critical part is here, that how much is the agricultural, how much is the non-agriculture or your manufacturing income or your business income, right? Agricultural and business, कैसे इसको define करें? Simply if I tell you, what would have been my agricultural income if I would have sold the produce as it is? Now this is for the 70%. So you will say 22 lakhs minus 14 lakhs. अगर मैं ये as it is बेचती तो मेरे को कितना agricultural income होता? 22 minus 14, 8 lakhs का. Correct? This is for my 70% of the income. Correct? So this would have been 13 lakhs. But what did I do? I sold it through manufacturing. So there is the business income which is coming from this 70% of sugarcane. How much business income is coming? 25 lakhs. 25 lakhs. Now 25 lakhs में से 22 lakhs is the cost of the raw material, which is sugarcane. Had I directly been doing the processing of sugar part, had I only been into manufacturing of sugar and not growing sugar, I would have purchased that sugar cane from the market for 22 lakhs. So 25 minus 22 minus extra expenses of 1.5 lakhs. So how much would have been my business income? 25 minus 22 minus 1.5. 1.5 lakhs would have been my business income. Is my business income, not would have been, is my business income. Now, how I came to it, I'm not applying any formula. I'm just applying the common sense. Simple. Business income kitna hua? 25 lakhs ka. Out of which 22 lakhs is the cost of raw material which was used, which is your sugar cane ka actual raw material, minus expenses which are there on the manufacturing of this. I got 1,50,000. Now this 70% may, yes, up to a stage would have been an agricultural income. Up to what stage? Up to the basic stage of cultivation or the basic stage of packing. That is this 22 minus 14. This actually is not a actual generated income, but my 25 lakhs was split it into two parts. One is 3 lakhs and one is 22 lakhs. 22 lakhs is agricultural receipt, assumable, and 3 lakhs is my actual manufacturing receipt. Is it clear? Please tell me if there's any doubt in this question. From this question, you can understand the two definition ka part which we did. Muhammad Aslam, is it clear now? Bhranti, Rohit, see, Ramchandra, very valid question. Packaging does not always mean that it's non-agriculture. Yes, it can be subsequent operations necessary to basic operations, and both basic and subsequent operations form part of your agricultural operations. Bhranti, I'm waiting for your answer. तो सिंपल सा पार्ट, अगर मुझे कोई बोलता है कि एग्रीकल्चर इनकम कितना हुआ, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इनकम कितना हुआ, अप टिल अ स्टेज आई एम अलाउड कि इफ दिस particular process would have been involved, it would have been my only agriculture income. From that next stage, it would be my business income. So I divide my complex wala income into two parts. Up till agriculture process is done, then up till manufacturing processes are done. Now, there are two ways to do this question. How much final income I got from that 70% of sugarcane is 25 lakhs. Now, but if I would have sold the same produce as an agriculture produce itself, I would have got 22. So 22 lakhs. So additional income from manufacturing process is 3 lakhs. So 22 minus 14, which is the cultivation expenses, I'll get my actual agricultural income. Okay, income का मतलब is the receipts minus the expenses. And manufacturing से how much additional I got? 3 lakhs. 3 lakhs में से manufacturing expenses I'll reduce to 1.5 lakhs. My manufacturing income, ultimately my business income is 1,50,000. Or you can do it the other way. 22 minus 14 so will remain same. And business income is 25 minus cost of raw material minus 1.5, 1,50,000. Ganesh, is it clear? I calculated the business income on the gross receipt minus expenses, the way I did it for the agricultural income. This is an important question. Question can come as in your MCQ can also come from this part. Again, now back to the definition. Where were we? So it may be income derived from such land. First word was such land से income हो रहा है of agriculture or from the performance of the ordinary process necessary to involved by the cultivator or receiver of rent to render the produce fit to the market or from the sale of such particular produce. Now यहाँ पे एक word again and again use हो रहा है, the land. The land is very important. There should be a land from which you are doing all this process, because ultimately agriculture is done on land. Hence, by saying so, they have removed certain things. You can see dairy farming. Dairy farming is not my agricultural income because land is not subject to their poultry farming. All of these would not come here. Horticulture, which is your cultivation of flowers, definitely would come here. But dairy farming, poultry farming, livestock, cattle farmings, all of these things would not come here. But one such exception has been given and inserted by explanation is nursery. Nursery का sale is agricultural income. Now you will ask, ma'am, why nursery में क्या होता है? Have you seen a nursery? Have you visited a nursery ever? What happens is there is this particular greenhouse करके area होगा where small saplings of plants are there. Small saplings of plants are there, and then they give you that sapling. Then you put it in your pot at your home or wherever you like, and you grow it. So the question comes here is whether nursery say income, if it is derived by the sale of saplings or seedlings which are grown in nursery, whether that is agricultural income or not. The answer is given by explanation. Definition में डाल दिया है. They're clearly written in the definition that it is, yes, it's an agricultural income, even if the land is not involved. They're growing it in a sapling part and they're selling it. Even if a land is not involved, still nursery income would be agricultural income. But dairy farming and poultry would not be agricultural income. Here. And now to the other part of this business thing. I'm not coming to the farmland. I'm breaking the definition step by step. First is rent from land used for agriculture purpose. The land should be in India. Second, we start income derived from land through agriculture process, through performance of process which are ordinary employed to make them produce fit to be sold into the market, and from the sale of such particular produce. Abhi we are doing and revolving around these two definitions only. Usme again we understood that farms, poultry farming, dairy farmings, all of these are not covered because the idea is here, land should be here. But again at the same time, nursery is covered. Now, as I was telling you how to come to the business income and agricultural income by dividing the process in two stages. And that is not something which I have done. This is given in your Rule 7. Now, if you would see this Rule 7 all together, you will read it, you will not understand it. That's why common sense से हमने agriculture market produce stage में divide किया. We did one question. Now, when you will read it, you will understand this one. But there are certain produce like rubber, coffee, and tea. Rubber, coffee, and tea, which cannot be sold by applying certain manufacturing process. The leaves which are grown for teas, or when the beans which are there for coffees, or for the rubber, there is latex. There has to be a certain degree of manufacturing process which is involved for the final consumer to use it. Tea is grown, filtered in a way, and then certain things are eliminated into it, and the packing is done in a way. The premium leaves, there is premium leaves, there is Veda leaves, there is so and so stuff. Manufacturing is there. Coffee may there are actually beans which grow, then they are roasted, then they are cured, then first there is cured, then they are roasted, and then they are grounded. You will get different varieties of coffee in market, roasted coffee, grounded coffee, all of these things. Rubber के case में भी latex एक plant होता है, वहाँ से rubber is derived. Rubber as in you see that rubber part जिसका आप slippers पहनते हो. So again, there is land involved, but there is also certain degree of manufacturing process involved. So instead of going deep diving into dividing into market value and all those stuff, the income tax has defined two various rules 7A, 7B, and 8. A certain percentage which is agricultural income and a certain percentage which is business income. So you don't have to deep dive into the processes of dividing it into agriculture or business income based on the market value and the cultivation expenses and the manufacturing expenses. You just have to do is, what you have to do is you have to calculate your income and then you have to divide it into agricultural and business income. What did I say? You have to divide the income into agriculture or business income based on what? Based on your percentage. So what you will do is you will calculate the gross receipt, you will reduce the expenses, and we'll come to income. Once that income is derived, you will divide it into percentage. So suppose we're talking about rubber, 65% would be agricultural income, the remaining would be business income. This would be taxed as business income, 65% would be exempt. Similarly for coffee, this will happen. Similarly for sale of tea, this will happen. Now, higher percentage always remember is for the agriculture part. The lower percentage is for the business part. Do you have to remember the percentage? Yes, it will not be given in the exam. 65, 35, jahan pe there is less manufacturing and more cultivation, the percentage is higher. Like coffee, when ground and cured, is 75% agricultural income. But when ground, cured, roasted, and grounded, more processes are involved, 60% only is the agricultural income. Similarly, tea may, there is 1%, 60% agriculture, 40% business. Clear? Let's do one question here. Mr. C manufactures latex from the rubber plants grown by him in India. These are then sold in the market for 30 lakhs. The cost of growing rubber plant is 10 lakhs and that of manufacturing latex is 8 lakhs. So how will I derive the profit or the income part? Cost minus expenses. Sorry, sale minus cost minus expenses. 30 lakhs is the sale expenses, 10 lakhs and 8 lakhs. 12 lakhs is my net profit. But usme 65% is agricultural income, 35% is business income. That's it. You don't have to do anything further. But these are only for these three items, rubber, coffee, and tea. For others, you will derive it into the 2 stages part, which we discussed in this example. Any doubt, students, you can take your time. Fish farming is also not agricultural income. प्रति percentage आपको remember करना है. 4 percentages हैं different. You have to remember it. Not actually, Ramachandra. Now to the last part of the definition. Agricultural income may arise in any of the following 3 ways. When lastly, agricultural income may be derived from any farm building required for agriculture operations. So farm building, say if there is any income which is used for agriculture operations, would be your agricultural income. Now, what is a farm building? Farm building can be any building which is near to that land, which is near to that land and is used for agriculture operations. Like a farmer can stay here, or a person who the keeps an eye on the produce, because yes, there are certain produce which are very precious, so that person is staying there in that particular building area which is there absolutely immediately near to the land, or it can be used as a storehouse. Farm building is a building used for the agriculture operations. If that building is again used for non-agriculture operations, that would not be an income from agricultural activities. Now, agricultural income, so suppose I have a farm building, I've given it on rent. Whatever rent I'm receiving, it's not from that land, but it's from a farm building. It would be an agricultural income. That building should be used for storehouse or dwelling. Dwelling means staying operations. That is immaterial, but it should be something in related to agricultural operations. Clear? Now, यही सारी definition, students 1, 2, 3 part are explained in details one by one in your module. You can read it. We have done everything in detail, covering from how is the business income involved, what is necessary operations, what are subsequent operations, what are operations which are required to bring the product into the market. Please do give a read to it. Okay, but now back to farm building again. Now you will ask, ma'am, what is actually farm building? What actually is a farm building? So farm building income would be an agricultural income when, first of all, the building is in the immediate vicinity of the land. Immediate vicinity of the land means it's immediately in the area of that land only. And the reason here is in connection with the agriculture operations, such land can be used, such building can be used for dwelling house or as a storehouse. Once these conditions are fulfilled, there is another condition that the land should be either, जहाँ पे वो farm building है, wherever that farm building is, that land should be in an area which is assessed to land revenue in India or is subject to local rate. Number one. If it is not assessed to land revenue in India, it should be, the farm building should be in an area where the population is up to 10,000. Where the population is up to 10,000, the farm building should be in that area. If the population is more than 10,000, so there's this municipal cantonment board, cantonment areas होते हैं, ठीक है? If the cantonment population is within 10,000, the farm building should be in the cantonment area. If, what did I say? If the cantonment area, the population is within 10,000, the farm building should be within the cantonment area. If the cantonment area ka population is more than 10,000, then the farm building should be within 2 kilometers wala area. So any farm building which is covered within 2 kilometers wala area, which is this. Any farm building which is covered within 2 kilometers wala area. 2 kilometers of what? 2 kilometers of a municipal cantonment area. Municipal cantonment area से 2 kilometers. जहाँ का population, इस area का population, if it is more than 10,000, then the farm building which is covered within 2 kilometers of the municipal cantonment area from either of the side would be covered as a eligible farm building, and hence any income received from that farm building would be an agricultural income. But suppose you will ask, ma'am, 10,000 से तो ज़्यादा है, but कितना ज़्यादा? So up to 10,000 है, or I should say it like this. Let me make it simpler for you. Let me make it easier. 1 second. Yeah. Listen carefully now. Now this is the cantonment area. This is my cantonment area. अगर cantonment area का population is less than 10,000, then it should be situated within this cantonment area. Then land should be situated within a cantonment area which has a population less than 10,000. But suppose cantonment area का population is more than 10,000 but up to 1 lakh. More than 10,000 but up to 1 lakh. Then cantonment area से 2 किलोमीटर के रेंज में in any site 2 किलोमीटर के aerial distance की range में any land situated would be covered here, and hence the farm building situated on such land would be covered under the definition for agricultural, would be covered under the purpose of the agricultural income definition. Okay. Then suppose the population of this cantonment area is more than 1 lakh, but is up to 10 lakh. Then instead of 2 kilometers, any land which is situated within 6 kilometers, this is 2 kilometers, this is 6 kilometers from the cantonment area, would be eligible to be a farm building, and hence any income derived from that would be my agricultural income. Now, if the cantonment area ka population, is more than your 10 lakh, then if the cantonment area ka population is more than 10 lakh, then the land which is situated, थोड़ा सा difference होगा यहाँ पे भी, within the land which is situated within the 8 kilometers range would also qualify to be your agricultural land. Would also qualify to be a farm building within that agricultural land, and from that farm building, would be from that farm building, it would be your agricultural income. So the farm building is coming based on this area. Yes, then the income from that farm building would be agricultural income. If the farm building is not coming from that area, then it would not be an agricultural income. So first you will identify the population, then you will identify the kilometers from the municipality cantonment. If the population and kilometers are matching, usme if the farm building comes, yes, it would be an agricultural income. Usme if it's not the farm building which is coming, it would be a non-agricultural income. Suppose they say the population is 7 lakhs. So 7 lakhs ka matlab hai within 6 kilometers ka range, anything which would be coming would be a farm building. If the cantonment population is 11 lakhs, then within 8 kilometers, anything which is coming would be your farm building. Clear? Any doubt? Jyoti, 1 second. Yes, Jyoti, in rubber case, in your tea case, and in your rubber tea and your coffee case, it is same. But यहाँ पे student one thing, yeah, MCQ whichever is given on the income tax MCQ which is given on your BS knowledge portal are important. OMR sheet में descriptive answers नहीं जाते. Just 1 second student, यहाँ पे एक और यहाँ पे urban areas से मैंने थोड़ा सा इसको critical कर दिया. Let me give you a clear screen यहाँ पे. Just give student, just wait for a second. यहाँ पे एक confusion which is creating. 1 second. I'll make the sheet again. One minute. 1 second, students. Please look on the diagram again. There's one confusion. I am deaf. 1 second. Why? One second. तो अभी तक जो हुआ वो रिकॉर्ड नहीं हुआ. को होस्ट बनाऊं या होस्ट बनाऊं? बना दिया. Sorry guys, please look on the screen once again. My bad. यहाँ पे urban and non-urban areas से confuse कर दिया मैंने. Just on the screen once again. Just erase 5 minutes of the time which we did. Yeah. So I was telling you that for the farm building to qualify as your agriculture income, rent from the farm building or the revenue from the farm building to qualify as your agriculture income, it is necessary that it should be within the immediate vicinity of the land. It should be within immediate vicinity of the land, and the cultivator is using it for the storage purpose or the residential dwelling purpose. Clear? Which is in relation to your agriculture operations. यहाँ तक clear था? But here, immediate vicinity of the land means what land? Where is that land situated and where that farm building hence should be? First of all, that land should be a land which is assessed by the land revenue in India, which is assessed by the land revenue in India or is subject to local rate assessed and collected by the officers of the government. Again, I'll repeat, the land revenue for the farm building to qualify as such, it should be within the immediate vicinity of the land, number one, and that land should be either assessed by the land revenue authorities in India or should be subject to local rate. If it is not, then what will happen? If it is not, then you have to see the population. If it is qualifying as a cantonment area and has a population of less than 10,000, if it is qualifying as a cantonment area and has population of less than 10,000 and the land is situated there, then it will not qualify for the farm building purpose. It should not be situated in an area as comprised with the jurisdiction of municipality or a cantonment board, and the population is not less than 10,000. So with a cantonment population, यहाँ पे at least 10,000 का population होता है. With a cantonment area where the population is of at least 10,000, वहाँ पे the land is situated. वहाँ पे if the land is situated, it will, and the farm building is in that vicinity, it will not qualify as my agricultural income. Why so? Because जहाँ पे cantonment area का population 10,000 से ज़्यादा है, 10,000 at least 10,000 है, वहाँ पे that means the people are living. There is a good residential accommodation. Agriculture happens in a cooler area where there are khets. So if the land is situated in a municipality population, if a land is situated in a municipality population with at least 10,000 people, that will not qualify to be a agricultural income. That will not qualify to be a farm building or a farm building for which agricultural income is exempt. I repeat again, if the farm building is on a land which is situated in a municipal board which has a population of at least 10,000, that land would not, the income from that farm building would not qualify to be an agricultural income, because वो हो सकता है कि वो एक इतने residential area में है where people can be using it for actual residential purpose and not for the purpose which is in relation to the agriculture operations. Okay, but if the population of that cantonment area is of more than 10,000 and is up to 1 lakh, the population of this cantonment area is more than 10,000 and is up to 1 lakh, then if the cantonment area में कोई land होगा, उसमें कोई farm building होगी, that would also not come, and also the farm building which is within the 2-kilometer range would also not qualify for the agricultural income. The idea is जितने residential area का population ज़्यादा है, the more the population of that cantonment area is more the land, more the distance from that cantonment area would also be covered for not qualifying as farm building. Earlier I was telling you for qualifying it, I was confusing it from the urban agriculture land and rural agriculture land. But here, when I saw the example, it is vice versa. My apologies. When I'm talking about the municipal cantonment board का population 10,000 से ज़्यादा है, but is up to 1 lakh. Then any land which is situated within the 2-kilometer area would also not qualify for the farm building to become an agricultural income which is exempt. So more the population, more the distance would not qualify for it to become an agricultural income. Not qualify. Okay. अगर cantonment area का population is more than 10,000, first of all, cantonment area with a population of up to 10,000, वहाँ पे कोई land है, it will not qualify. With which has at least 10,000 का population, वहाँ पे कोई land है, it will not qualify for farm building, exempt from agricultural income. Similarly, if the population is of more than 10,000 but is up to 1 lakh, then 2 kilometers range would also become a disqualification for farm building to be situated in this 2 kilometers range. Now, if the cantonment ka population is more than 1 lakh, then more the area would also disqualify for it to be in a exempted situation. So, agar population is more than 1 lakh but is up to 10 lakh, then ye wala area also, which is within 6 kilometers range, would not qualify to be a farm building. If the cantonment ka population is more than 10 lakhs, then up to 8 kilometers wala area would not qualify to be a farm building. So back to the concept, अगर कोई municipal cantonment board का population is 10,000, is at least 10,000, तो उस municipal cantonment board के area में whichever land is coming would not, and uspe whichever farm building is there would not qualify to be an agricultural income. Why? Because they are saying that it is into a residential area now, and hence it can be used for general purposes also. It will not qualify as a farm building. कैंटनमेंट का पॉपुलेशन 10,000 से ज्यादा है, तो एक कैंटनमेंट एरिया में जो लैंड है ऑल्सो उसके 2 किलोमीटर की रेंज में वट एवर लैंड इज देयर, उस पे व्हेन फार्म बिल्डिंग कम्स इट विल नॉट क्वालिफाई एज एन एग्रीकल्चरल इनकम. More the disqualification criteria increases if the cantonment का population increases and is up to 1 lakh, then within 6 kilometers के area में कुछ है, it will not qualify as a farm building. If the cantonment area का population crosses 10 lakh, then within 8 kilometers के range में कुछ आ रहा है, it will not qualify as farm building. Is it clear now? Sorry for the confusion which happened. Because same concept comes for urban and rural area, वहाँ पे the different part comes. Raj, thank you. I stand myself corrected. Now let me know if there's any problem. Yes, absolutely, Dinesh. जहाँ का population cantonment का 10 lakh से ज़्यादा है, but land is situated from the 9 kilometers range. The land is situated within the from the 9 kilometers range. It can qualify as a farm building because 8 kilometers तक के area को they have not covered. If the population is less than 10,000, then no worries. Then no worries. उस cantonment area में वो आएगा, it can qualify as a farm building. स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन एग्रीकल्चरल इनकम में कहां से आया? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जो कॉन्सेप्ट है प्लीज उस पे स्टिक करो. Darsharan, is it clear? Bhranti, question population ka you could be given in your exam, and the population is generally as per the latest census. Vicinity means any land which is immediately near to that, any building which is immediately near to that land. Now you can do the example, it would be pretty much clear. Okay, students, so 10 minutes almost got wasted because of the technical glitch, and 10 minutes extra got wasted because of this confusion. So we'll avoid break. Would that be okay? Because otherwise the class would be extended for a long time. Absolutely. If the population of the cantonment is less than 10,000, the farm building can be agricultural income. Thank you so much. So now proceeding with the agricultural income only. Can I sum up? Agricultural income is an income which is derived from rent, which can be derived in 3 ways. One is rent received from land situated in India used for agriculture operations. Another is the income received through agriculture activities or through operations which are necessary, which are ordinarily employed by a person to bring the produce fit to the market. Ordinary operations tak jo bhi hoga would be my agricultural income. Beyond ordinary operations would be my business income, which are the operations which are optional or manufacturing involved. Uska sales, anything would be there, would be divided accordingly. And the income from farm building. Farm building should be situated within the immediate vicinity of the land. The land should not be situated in a cantonment board with a population of 10,000 or more, if it is situated, then that land would the farm building in that land would not qualify as agricultural income. If the land is situated in a cantonment mode with a population of more than 10,000, then 2 kilometers tak ka land from that cantonment mode disqualifies to be, or the farm building in that land disqualifies to be an agricultural income. Farm building, if is on a land where the population of the municipality board is more than 1 lakh, and if it is in the vicinity of 6 kilometers, then farm building would not qualify to be an agricultural income. With a population of more than 10 lakhs, then within 8 kilometers, whatever land is there would not qualify, or the farm building on that land would not qualify for agricultural income. Also, I told you land ka connection hona is very important, and hence dairy farming, poultry farming, fisheries, breeding of livestock is exempt from, is not covered in your agricultural income. It's a non-agricultural income. Agricultural income mein nursery would come, flowers, horticulture, all of these things would cover. Now, there were certain indirect connections which were being asked for. Indirect connections means, student, what actually is indirect connection? Now, suppose I am getting dividend from a company whose entire income is agricultural income. So I'm getting dividend from a company whose entire income is agricultural income. Can I say that this dividend is also an agricultural income? Can I say this dividend is also agricultural income? No. Dividend is, though is coming from a company which is entirely into agriculture, does not make my dividend an agricultural income. Company ka income hai wo exempt hai, wo that is a different thing. But my income is not agricultural income in those cases. Similarly, another question came. I have a land, okay, wahan pe the forest grows automatically. You know, forest में सब कुछ automatically grow होता है. You don't have to water it. It's such a strong force of nature. Everything grows automatically. So suppose I am a wood cutter. Okay, the forest produce are growing automatically. I just cut the wood, sell it into the market. Can I say that wood, say whatever income I'm getting from that timber which I'm selling, it would be an agricultural income? The answer is no. The income from the sale of forest trees which grow on their own with no activities involved cannot be said to be an agricultural income. There should be certain degrees of agriculture operations being performed. There should be certain degree of agriculture operations being performed. Is it clear? So there should be a direct connection of agriculture for it to be an agricultural income. Clear? Any doubt? Is the definition of agricultural income clear? Mahima, first you see the population, then you see the range. ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे एक ऐसा कॉन्सेप्ट आ गया where you will see कि मैम अभी तक तो आपने जो बोला गलत बोला. This concept is called partial integration of agricultural income with non-agricultural income. The word is partial integration of agricultural income with non-agricultural income. Ma'am, now what is this? Now, this concept, first of all, is applicable only to the assessees on which slab rates are applicable. Who are those assessees? Individuals, HUFs, AOPs, and BOIs. These are those assessees and artificial juridical person on which slab rates are applicable, correct? These are those assessees. So only on those assessees this concept of partial integration came in. Now what is partial integration of agricultural income with non-agricultural income. I told you agricultural income is totally exempt. It is exempt income, exempt income, exempt income. But यहाँ पे आके government used a very smart move. Government used a very smart move where they integrated the agricultural income with non-agricultural income to remove a slab benefit. अब क्या होता है on these people, these category of people, slab benefits are there. जिसकी वजह से already they have a certain degree of income which is exempt, which is not taxable, which is your income up to basic exemption limit. Correct? Now the government says इनको exempt income agriculture वाला इतना ज्यादा मिल गया, so it would be a wrong thing. First, their agricultural income would be exempt, then they will use their basic exemption limit. So ultimately, we will not get any tax. So what we'll do is we will tax the agricultural income with non-agricultural income, and then we will remove the tax on agricultural income, and we will say that you are only paying the tax on the non-agricultural income. First, they are saying take the tax on one and two both, then remove the tax from one, and ultimately it is taxing only on two. But actually, in a way, you are taking a higher tax from such people because they have slab benefits. For companies, LLPs, firms, or even cooperative society or local authorities, there is no partial integration. This is only for individuals, HUF, AOP, BOIs, and artificial juridical person. Why there is there? Because they have slab benefits. They have slab benefits. Number two, when it would be applicable? It would be applicable only when the agricultural income is more than 5,000 and non-agricultural income is more than the basic exemption limit. Non-agricultural income can be any income. It can be salary, it can be other sources, it can be business income, it can be capital gain income, does not matter. Agricultural and non-agricultural income. Agriculture more than 5,000, non-agricultural income more than basic exemption limit. So, उस case में how do you calculate the tax? It's again simple. I told you. Calculate. Step one is calculate the tax on agricultural income and non-agricultural income. Now, I'll do it for Mr. X, a resident who has provided you the following particulars of income. Income from salary, income from house property, agricultural income from land in Jaipur, expenses incurred on agricultural income. So, my net agricultural income is 3,10,000. 480 minus 170. So you will say, ma'am, its agricultural income is exempt. We all agree on it. But the taxation part comes with the concept of partial integration. The taxation comes with the concept of partial integration where they integrate the agricultural, integrate means milana, the agricultural income with non-agricultural income just to remove the slab benefit. See how. First of all, calculate the tax on the agricultural non-agricultural income, which is 3,10,000 plus non-agricultural income कितना हो गया 5,30,000. So total 8,40,000 पे calculate the tax. Only the tax, no surcharge, no cess, nothing. Which would come to quickly. Waiting for the answer. $68 plus 80,500. Okay. Then they say this is my step one. Then they say calculate the tax on agricultural income. And they very smartly say calculate the tax on agricultural income with basic exemption limit included. क्योंकि बेसिक एग्जेम्पशन लिमिट वो माइनस हो जाएगा, उस पर टैक्स नहीं लगेगा. तो 3,10,000 plus the basic exemption limit applicable to this. His age is 45 years. Basic exemption limit is 2,50,000. So calculate the tax on 3,10,000 plus 2,50,000, which is calculating the tax on 5,60,000. So 60,000 pay 20% plus 12,500, which comes to 24,500. Okay, this is step 2. Step 3 में they say minus step 1. Step 1 से step 2 minus कर लो. 80,500 minus 24,500, which is 56,000. Now this is your final tax liability as increased by surcharge or cess, whichever is applicable. So 58 to 40 is my final tax liability. What they did first, they calculated the tax on the entire income, which is your agricultural and non-agricultural income. Then what they did, though the total income was 5,30,000 only, but for calculating the tax, they're using the agricultural income. Now this concept is a compulsory concept applicable only on slab benefits wala people. Secondly, what they did first, they calculated the agricultural income and non-agricultural income pay tax. Then they calculated the agricultural income as increased by basic exemption limit. Basic exemption limit पे तो ultimately tax नहीं लगता, so they're ultimately taking the track on this 3,10,000. उस पे the tax comes as, you will not apply the tax on 310. You have to increase it by basic exemption limit, which is 5,60,000. So whatever the tax comes, you remove it from 80,500 minus 24,500, it would be 56,000. Had you only tax 5,30,000, तो गवर्नमेंट को कितना मिलता? Only 30,000 पे 20% plus 12,500, which is 18,500. But they said no, we are going first, we are giving you exempt incomes also, we are giving you the slab benefit also. So it's a hazardous situation for us. We will take the tax on your income by integrating the agricultural income with the non-agricultural income. So wherever a question like this comes, and it is very important at your level, you have to apply partial integration. क्यों करा, कैसे करा, is it clear? Cess and surcharge से पहले you have to do it. Cess and surcharge would be applicable once you come to the step 3. Now quickly, I'll give you 2 minutes. Quickly solve the same for the person who is 70 years old. Here the higher basic exemption limit of very senior citizen would be applicable. So quickly do it. I'll quickly get my water. And if you also need water, please get it. So quickly do it for 70 years old and we'll continue. So I hope everyone has done the question. 5,30,000 is the non-agricultural income, Kavita. Very good. So first one to do is 8 lakh wala Khojma. Very good. Rohit, very, very, very good question. Surcharge rate would be applicable only on the non-agricultural income, which is your total income. Total income mein agricultural income would not come only for doing the tax calculation we are doing it. Okay. I was actually hoping कि रोहित वाला question कोई पूछेगा. Very good. So it's very easy. Identify your agricultural, non-agricultural income, calculate the tax on both, calculate the tax on agricultural and slab benefit, remove step 1, say step 2, and you will get your answer. But be very careful in choosing the right slab base. So यहाँ पे we cover up the concept of agricultural income. Few good concept and a lengthy concept, definitions and rules 7A, B8. Please remember it. Please remember partial integration. That is the most important thing. Now we move ahead to other list of exempt income. Abhi yahan going forward, there are very easy exempt income. Just you have to understand what the section says, what the clause says, and what are the conditions in relation to the clause. Let's start. This is section 10 clause 2, which says that HUF member को जो share HUF से मिलेगा, that would be exempt. Any share received from the HUF would be exempt in the hands of member. Why so? Because HUF is paying tax on it. HUF has already paid tax on it, so member would not pay tax on that share. Member को कोई और income हो रहा है, member is having any other income, that would be taxable in his hand. But the HUF share would not be taxable by the clear reason that HUF has paid tax on it. Similarly, partners के case में, partners के case में भी the same thing happens. Partnership firm pays the tax on it. Hence, anything which is coming as a share of profit. Share of profit. I'm only talking about share of profit. I'm not talking about salaries, interest received from partnership firm. That is a different thing. Profit per share, which is received from the firm in the hands of partner, would not be taxable. Why? The firm has paid already the tax on on their profits. Hence, the partner would not pay tax again. This is like avoiding the cascading or double taxation impact. It does not matter if firm is not paying tax ultimately because the income is getting zero, or they are having deductions, or they're having tax holidays. It does not matter. The point is, firm ke haath mein that profit is taxable. They are paying it to the partners. Nothing is taxable. This is what the circular says. Okay. Next is again another important section. Section 10, clause 4, clause 2. What does this section say? So before going on to this section, you should know that FEMA में there are two types of accounts which are allowed to be opened by the non-resident Indian, NRIs. FEMA is a different act. Uske according, you are again a person resident outside India or a person resident in India as per FEMA, not as per the Income Tax Act. I'm talking as per the FEMA. So if as per FEMA, you are a person who is resident outside India and you're permitted to open the account. So there are two types of account, NRO, NRE. NRI who comes to India, they're Indian, they do not open a general saving account, they open an account which is called NRO account. And same NRIs open a NRE account, which is non-resident external account, to park their foreign incomes which are accrued outside India, which are not taxable in India in Indian currency. So both the accounts are opened in Indian currency. Here their foreign income goes, here their Indian income goes. किसका I'm talking about? NRIs का. NRO account में Indian income goes, NRE account में foreign income goes. This is just like any other saving account, but it is not a proper saving account. It's a NRO account जहाँ पे Indian income आता है. From withdrawing from such NRO account, the bank ensures that the taxes are paid on such income which is getting credited on the NRO account. NRE account में foreign income है, government को कुछ लेना देना नहीं है, because for a non-resident, income accrued outside India is not taxable. They are just bringing it in their Indian currencies. That's why that comes in an NRE account. NRE account से withdraw can happen, no problem. NRE account is just like a saving account for your foreign incomes. So any interest which you are getting on an NRE account is exempt from tax. Why it is exempt from tax? Because interest is on what income? Interest is being earned on the foreign income. When foreign income is not taxable, the interest on it would also be not taxable. But NRO account, if you get any interest, that is taxable. The NRO, NRE is not given anywhere here. Please understand if there is any confusion. Correct, Ganesh, absolutely. Any confusion in NRO, NRE? Jyoti, please ask this again towards the end of the class. Shall I proceed? Okay. Next category, section 10 clause 6. Section 10 clause 6 means there are multiple provisions. We are covering 4 of them, which talks about remuneration received by individuals who are not citizen of India. So along with this, the main condition which is there in all the 4 parts which we'll be studying now is that the person is not a citizen of India. Then only this section 10 exemption would cover. What are those exemptions? First is remuneration received by officials of embassies of foreign states. What is this? So diplomats who come to India, Indian High Commission are there in various countries. Similarly, other countries' High Commission are here in India. Okay, so the people from their country come here and work here. So I remember I told you services rendered in India, that means income is taxable in India, right? But particular exemptions are given to diplomats, that if you are a diplomat working in embassy in India, your income, which is your salary income, would not be taxable. Your salary income would not be taxable. Even if the services are rendered in India, we are exempting it. Provided we will only exempt if हमारे persons जो आपकी country के high commission में है, the persons who are there in the high commission of your country, also not the Indian persons who are there in the high commission of your country, are not paying any tax there in the foreign country. So वहाँ पे भी उनका income foreign country में exempt है, तभी आपका income इस country में हम exempt करेंगे. It's a two-way relation. Your diplomat salary exempted in India, our diplomat salary who are there in your country exempted from your taxation. Number 2, the diplomats are only engaged in the diplomacy work. They're not engaged in any profession or business or employment in India. They come here only for the purpose of High Commission. Okay. Then only the remuneration received would be remuneration received by such foreign diplomats who are not citizens of India, who are working in Indian embassies, would be, or in the embassies in India, would be exempt. The 2 conditions have to be fulfilled. Number 2, remuneration received for services rendered in India as an employee for foreign enterprise. Now what happened? What company, which is your favorite foreign company which does not have office in India? Okay. So let's talk about Apple. Now, Apple is thinking to start a manufacturing of iPhone 14 here in India, right? But Apple sent one of the technician or one of the main research person who was working in USA to India for certain period to see whether we can open a plant of manufacturing or not. So USA se a person came. Now where he's rendering the services, he's rendering the services in India. He was saying, I'm rendering the services in India. So jitne time mein he's in India, that services should be taxable in India as it is accrued in India. I said yes. But that services, that income for that period of service is exempt under Section 10, Clause 6, Subclause 6 again. Why and when? When the foreign enterprise is not engaged in any business in India, abhi tak, the person has only come for a period of 90 days. If he's come for more than 90 days, this exemption would not work. And no other company is taking the benefit of that salaries which are being paid to that person as a deduction. So the remuneration is not liable to be deducted from the employer's income chargeable to tax under the Income Tax Act. Okay? Then the person income would be exempt. The person who has come from USA for less than 90 days just to introspect. Okay. Next is salary received by non-citizen, non-resident. यहाँ पे both the conditions citizen of India भी नहीं है and non-resident भी नहीं है for services rendered in connection with employment of a foreign ship. If you are employed on some foreign ship which comes to India, it stands here in India, you are here for that period of layoff. You're here for that period of layoff. You're getting your salary. That does not mean that since the services now are rendered in India, it will become taxable in India. It is taxable in India, but it is exempt if your total stay in India does not exceed 90 days during the previous year. Then it will be exempt. Clear? Another type of remuneration which is exempt for non-citizen of India are remuneration received by foreign employees during their stay in India for specified training. Now, in common exchange programs, many employees of the foreign government come to India. So if they are coming to India for that particular training period, if they are getting any salaries, that would be exempt provided the training is conducted by government or any central government or any other organization of government like statutory corporations or other societies. Okay. So these are all the 4 types of remuneration which are not taxable in the hands of individuals who are not citizen of India. The conditions in relation to it has to be matched. भ्रांति एनआरओ अकाउंट में कुछ भी आएगा दैट इज टैक्सेबल. वो उसमें से आप निकाल ही नहीं सकते तब तक जब तक टैक्स इज नॉट पेड ऑन दैट इनकम. Any question? You can move. Give a look at the list if you have any doubt. चले? Okay. If the conditions are not satisfied, Rohit, definitely the income would become taxable. Compensation received on account of disaster. Now, disaster, if something happens, you may read in sad news in the news that a so and so disaster has happened and government has awarded compensation to the family or to the individual who has suffered. Okay, this happens. So that compensation you are receiving, because of disaster, provided that compensation is from central government, state government, or local authority, is an exempt income. The compensation which is received is an exempt income. Provided, again, another condition which is very important is that you are not claiming the deduction of expenditure. We are not claiming the deduction of loss which has happened from the profit. So suppose X person's building got destroyed, for which the government has given the compensation, but at the same time, destruction expenses is claiming from profit. Both the things cannot happen. You are claiming the profit deductions also for the destroying, for the building which got destroyed, and at the same time, you're receiving the compensation also, which is exempt. You will not claim the destruction expenses as the deduction, then you can claim the compensation as exemption. Okay, both the thing quite obviously government says कि आप एक तरफ खर्चा भी दिखा रहे हो और दूसरी तरफ इनकम भी exempt कर रहे हो, win-win situation नहीं. Okay, next is payment from Sukanya Samriddhi account. Now this account is very popular for past couple of years. What is this account? This account is Sukanya Samriddhi account, which is an account which is open when a girl child is born. So for 15 years, a person makes contribution into this with the minimum amount as low as 250 rupees. So you can open this account. For 15 years, you make contribution to it. And at the age of 21, the girl child receives the amount which is there in this account along with interest. So what happens? The parent or the guardian makes the contribution into this account up to the 15 years of age of the girl child, and once the girl child attains 21 years of age, she get all the money which is there in this account. You can withdraw it earlier also, provided you're meeting certain conditions of those account. But yeah, generally it is up to the 21 years of age when you can withdraw the amount. Now on withdrawal, whatever amount you're withdrawing would not be taxable, or any interest which is getting credited on this account would also not be taxable. So Sukanya Samriddhi account का बहुत सारा benefit होता है. 80C में you get the reduction on the deposits which you are making. The interest, which is your income, is not taxable. Clear? Next, education purpose के लिए people get scholarships. People get scholarships irrespective of whatever amount it is. This education purpose के लिए whatever scholarships you are getting is not taxable as your income. Next, section 10 clause 17. Yeah. Section 10 clause 17 says payments to MPs, MLAs, the member of parliaments and member of legislative assembly. These are for your central government. These are for your state governments. They get, along with salary, certain allowances. One is in the nature of daily allowance. Another is the nature of constituency allowance. Just constituency के आप MP और MLA हैं, वो base पे you get the allowances. Both these allowances are exempt from tax. Which daily and constituency, for both MPs and MLAs. But their salary is definitely taxable. Next is section 10 clause 17A. Award for literary, scientific and artistic works and other awards given by the government. If the government or the state government gives you any award, it has monetary benefit also with it, which is for your literary, scientific and artistic works, like national awards. I'm not talking about Filmfare awards, I'm talking about national awards which are awarded by the government or which are awarded by the state government. On those awards, any amount which I've received would be exempt. Similarly, pensions are received by, if the pensions are received by the recipient of gallantry awards. First of all, this is exempt under section 10 clause 18. Pension, I told you, is a taxable income. It is taxed as salary because it is for the services which are rendered. Okay. But pension, when received by the recipient of gallantry award. What is gallantry award? Gallantry award means like Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra, Veer Chakra, or any other gallantry award which is notified. अभी तक ये तीन नोट है, परमवीर चक्र, महावीर चक्र, वीर चक्र की awardees को, if any pension is being received, that pension is not taxable. That pension is not taxable because you have shown exemplary courage on the field. Hence, the pension, which is, it is for the services rendered in India, it is accrued in India, it is taxable, but it is exempted because of the provisions of section 10. Clear? And in case the person who is the awardee of Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra, or Veer Chakra is deceased, then the family member receives the pension, and the family member who's receiving the pension would also, that pension would also be exempt in the hands of those family member. The last type of exemption which we are covering here is section 10 clause 26 AAA. Specified income of Sikkimese individual. Sikkimese individual means individual who are Sikkim resident. Sikkimese individual. So Sikkimese individual को कोई भी income होता है कोई भी source से from the state of Sikkim. So if I have a business income from Sikkim, if I have a salary income from a person who is there in Sikkim, if I have any other sources income from Sikkim, any income which is happening to a Sikkimese individual from where the source is the state of Sikkim, that is exempt. And if the source is not in the state of Sikkim, then also dividend and interest is exempt. Then also dividend and interest is exempt in the hands of Sikkimese individual. Men, women, both included. But married Sikkimese women who have married a non-Sikkimese person, a Sikkimese woman who has married a non-Sikkimese person on or after 1st April 2008 are withdrawn from this exemption. So if you marry a non-Sikkim person, then your entire income would be taxable. This is only for the women, not for the men. A man marrying a non-Sikkimese woman does not matter. But a Sikkimese woman marrying a non-Sikkimese individual, then she would not be benefited from the exempt income, which is under section 10, clause 26 AAA. Any problem? So with this, we covered all the exemptions. Anyone has any doubt? No worries, class. We're not overing it right now. We have another deduction coming in. But I give you a moment, go through all the types of exemptions which we have covered. If you have any doubt, I'll be very happy to take care of for the next 2 minutes. By 9:10, we'll take the doubts till the exemption part, and then we'll proceed to the other part of this section, which is again very important. Yes, Bhranti, salaries of MLA are taxable under the head income from other sources. You will see it in Y. No. Alok, that compensation, which is very good question. Alok asked if a person had claimed insurance and then received a compensation on account of disaster, then income would be taxable or not, as the insurance receipt would be taxable or not, it would be taxable. This is the compensation which you're receiving from the government, not from any other person. It is, Kavita, this is only for Sikkim individual. Sikkimese individual को कोई भी income होता है जिसका source सिक्किम में है. Anish, listen carefully. जिसका source सिक्किम में है, कोई भी income that is not taxable, and also जिसका source सिक्किम में नहीं है, whose source is not in Sikkim, उनका dividend and interest is not taxable. See, people, these exemptions came in to enhance the quality of life for the peoples who are there in these areas. So that's why Sikkim peoples were given such benefits. man marries non-Sikkimese person, he will continue to be a Sikkimese individual and get the benefit. Correct, Gomti. You may not remember the clauses, student. In case you remember the section, you can write as per section 10. Do not be at your age. I will not expect you remember all the clauses. But remember clauses 10.1 is for agriculture, 10.2 is for HUF, 10.2A is for partner firms. More than enough. Mahima, what is the doubt? Compensation of what? So Raj has a doubt. Sorry, I missed it. If a foreigner stay in India for more than 90 days, yes, his income would be taxable. Rohit says foreign embassy is engaged in any business and remunerations also. Foreign embassy business में taxable नहीं engaged नहीं होता. Any person who's a diplomat who's working in that who's working in the High Commission in India is involved in any business or profession, then this exemption would not be available. What is the minimum amount rational for what? Absolutely correct. Basic and subsequent operations both are qualified as agricultural operations. Dwelling house means जहाँ पे कोई person रह रहा है. Suppose a person who has to take care of the land, if that person is staying there, that is allowed as farm building का purpose. Third point of what, Mahima? Please help me understand. Third point in relation to what? Minimum amount is 250 rupees in the Sukanya Samriddhi account. Ikrar, I did not get any of your question up till now. Achha, I answered Ikrar. If a man marry with non-Sikkimese women, then he would continue to get the benefit of 1026 AAA. Okay? When exemption is not allowed in case of compensation, may third point. Achha. My third point in case of compensation I'm saying is suppose X person का building destroy हो गया, okay, loss हो गया उनको, building destroy हुआ, he got a compensation for government. You will say compensation is exempt, but at the same time if you are taking the destruction expenses or the loss expenses as deduction in your profit, that is not allowed. That is not allowed. You are getting something which is for that destruction, which is not taxable. At the same time, you are reducing your profit because of showing that okay, loss incurred on loss incurred on destruction of house, and you are reducing your profit. Both the things are not allowed. Okay. See, cantonments are aslams are generally the military area, which where the military area happens. And if I talk about Delhi Cant here, there are dwellings for military families are there. That is your cantonment. Maximum amount Sukanya Samriddhi mein, Raj, you can put up to 1,50,000. Any other question? इंटरेस्ट ऑन एनआरआई अकाउंट में होता है, इंटरेस्ट ऑन एनआरई होता है और एनआरओ होता है. एनआरओ अकाउंट में इंटरेस्ट इज लाइक इंडियन सेविंग्स earnings पे you are getting that interest, that is taxable. NRE account पे interest is exempt, that is what the section 10 which we covered talks about. NRE account पे interest is why exempt, because NRE account of foreign earnings related. The foreign earnings are not taxable, so any interest on that earnings would also not be taxable. Insurance claim Mahima is not covered. Example Jyoti 3,10,000 इसलिए डिडक्ट किया because agricultural income is always net of expenses and income वहाँ पे is net of the revenue which you are earning, that's why 3,10,000. Any other query? चलें आगे. सबको सब कुछ clear? Farm building most importantly because वहाँ पे there was a confusion, that is also clear. Now we move towards the last leg of this particular chapter, which is very important, section 10AA. A question most likely comes in an alternate year from this particular section. Of this section, which is called section 10AA, is actually not an exemption, it's your deduction. Please mark it, this is a deduction section. Now there is गवर्नमेंट क्या करता है, दिस इज अ जनरल पॉलिसी to promote certain things, to promote manufacturing of a certain product or promote sale of a certain product, similarly to promote growth in a particular areas or to promote certain category of infrastructure, they come up with tax incentives or tax holidays ताकि people are more inclined to do certain type of activity in a certain type of area in a certain manner. And they bring up what? They bring up tax benefits, because for any organization, tax is a big criteria. How do you want yourself to be identify? What type of business do you want to do? Identify as a tax person depends, because tax amount is not a small amount. It can take up to 30-40% of your earnings, right? So that's why, to encourage, to incentivize, government comes up with the plans of tax holiday. These are given under section 80 IA and all of so on, which is there in your chapter 6A. Chapter 6 is not your module ka chapter. Chapter 6A is of income tax ka chapter. Okay, but one such section is here also under section 10AA. Please do not say this section as 10 clause AA, as I told it in the beginning of the class. This is 10AA. Now, what is this tax holiday? This tax holiday is only for units which are located in special economic zones. SEZs, India में zones बनाए जाते हैं. There are many zones like free trade policy zone, DTA zones. There are many zones which promote your certain foreign exports को promote करने के लिए these zones are there. Just one second. So one special economic zone may, if any unit is established if any unit is established in a special economic zone who is into any manufacturing is very important, of any product or article, or in provision of any service. Manufacturing of any product or article or in any provision of service, उसमें से कुछ profits होता है. एक unit which is located in SEZ and is into manufacturing of a production or an article of a thing, or in any provision of service, then the export profits, I'm not talking about the general profits, I'm talking about the export profits which are coming from export of such article or export of such service, that profits would be given as deduction. That profits would be given as deduction from your gross total income. What did I say? This is first a deduction section. This is not an exemption section. That means the income first would be taxable. Once it is taxable, a deduction would be allowed from it. Now, what is the deduction criteria? Deduction criteria is that it is only allowed to the unit located in SCZ and is into manufacturing of any production or article or thing or provision of any services. The deduction is only of the export profits. Export profits जो हो रहे हैं, कौन से होते हैं export profits? Profits which are coming from export business. Export business of the manufactured articles, export of the provision of services. उससे whatever profits you're having, that would be given as deduction under section 10AA. That means first you will calculate it as your income and then you will reduce it from your total income. Now the point is how this deduction is allowed, whether all the time. Tax holiday is like for a period. Holiday मतलब एक छोटा दिन के लिए नहीं, 1 year का नहीं है. Tax holiday है, that means it is for a good period. It is for a good period. First of all, this holiday is for 15 assessment years. 15 assessment years. Yani, if you start your manufacturing today and you're into export from today, from this previous year itself to the next 14, this and plus 14, 15 assessment years may you get holiday. But it is not entire profit which gets deducted. There are certain criteria. Let's understand it. First of all, to qualify for exemption or the deduction, you have to, yeah, it's written exemption, students, but it is actually in the nature of deduction which is given from the total income. So to qualify for this particular exemption or the deduction, first of all, it is very important that your manufacturing has begun within the year assessment year 2006-07 when this benefit was given till assessment year 2020-2021. This period में आपका manufacturing should start. This period में your manufacturing should start, which is like in the previous year 5-6 से लेके previous year 1920 तक आपका manufacturing should start. So can I say till 31st March 2020 your manufacturing should have been started to qualify for section 10AA. Your manufacturing should have been started to qualify for section 10AA. Is it clear? Now, COVID की वजह से 31st March 20 तक many organization would made a reference that we are unable to start. Made a reference that we are unable to start the manufacturing by 31st March 2020 because the last 2 months were heavily impacted because of COVID. So they said, okay, the condition remains the same. But in case you were unable to start your manufacturing by 31st March 2020, you can start your manufacturing by 31st March 2021 in that case, but it would be assumed that you have started your manufacturing in assessment year 2020-2021. So they have not extended this year by 21-22. This is not done. What they have done is they have deemed a provision that in case you are unable to start your manufacturing by 31st March 2020, you can start it by 31st March 2021. Then also we will allow you the deduction because it would be deemed that you have begun your production in assessment year 2020-2021. Clear? So the first condition is that you should start your production by 31st March 2020. In case you have not started, you should be started by 31st March 2021. Assessment year 2020-2021. Second thing, you have to get your accounts audited and you have to file the report under section 44AB. This is again very important. The period of filing the report is 1 month prior to your due date of return. So suppose your due date of return is 31st October, then you have to file your return by 30th of September. File your audit report by 30th of September. Next is how the deduction is allowed. Now this is very important. How do you start it? The deduction is allowed. A deduction is allowed only on export profits. First of all, export profits. आपको question में total profit दिया होगा. You have to calculate your export profits. How do you calculate your export profits? Based on unitary method. I'll tell you. I'll come to that also. Now, how the deduction is allowed. For the first 5 assessment year, beginning from the assessment year relevant to the previous year in which the manufacturing begins. So the first 5 assessment year, 100% of profits are allowed as deduction. 100% export profits are allowed as deduction. For the next 5 assessment years, 50% of the export profits are allowed as deduction. So whatever export profits you're having, uska 50% are allowed as deduction. And for the first 5 assessment year, 100%. For the next 5 assessment year, 50%. And for the next 5 assessment year, which is like for first to 5, 100%, 6 to 10, 50%, and then 11 to 15. 50% of the profit or amount transferred in special economic zone reinvestment reserve, whichever is lower, would be allowed as deduction for the next 5 consecutive years. So all of these are consecutively allowed as deduction. Now first you will ask, ma'am, what is export profit? How do you calculate it? I'll tell you. Second, you will ask, ma'am, what is this special economic zone reinvestment reserve? I'll tell you that also. But abhi tak, apart from these 2 questions, any query? So अभी तक क्या है? Special economic zone, it's a deduction allowed from the gross total income, where I'll come to that, Aarti, where a manufacturing unit which is there in a special economic zone has begun its manufacturing between assessment year 6-7 to assessment year 2021. That is by 31st March 2020. In case you have not done your manufacturing by 31st March 2020, you can do it by 31st March 2021. It could be assumed that you have done it by 31st March 2020. Secondly, the deductions are allowed, the tax holiday is allowed for 15 years, but it is divided into 3 parts. For the first 5 assessment years, you get, for assessment year कब से begin होगा? From the assessment year when the manufacturing begins. Assessment year relevant to the previous year when the manufacturing began. For the first 5 assessment year, 100% of the profits, export profits, would be given as deduction. For the next 5 years, 50% of the export profits would be given as deduction, and for the next consecutive 5 years, 50% of the export profits are given as deduction, or the amount which is transferred to special economic reserve, whichever is lower. Okay. Now you will ask Ma'am, what is this special economic reserve? Now let me give an example. So if a person is starting manufacturing today, Pranay, very valid question, is not relevant for this tax holiday. This all the tax holiday schemes come with a period which is called sunset period, which is that this scheme would be applicable only for so and so time. It cannot be a forever benefit. Okay. Consecutive years means continuously. On the screen, for example, in manufacturing began by an SCZ unit on 15th of October 2008. 15th of October 2008. Now, यहाँ पे we are talking about previous year 8-9 May the production began. That is assessment year 9-20, which is your previous year relevant to the assessment year relevant to the previous year. So you can qualify for deduction. So 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13 and 13, 14 में 100% of export profits. Then next 5 years में 14 to 15 में 50% of those profit up till assessment year 18-19. Then next 5 from assessment year 19-20 to assessment year 23-24, 50% of the profits provided certain conditions of transferring to reserve is satisfied. Now what is this transferring to reserve? The government says profits, आपको पता है, profits are appropriated and transferred to reserves. The government says that we want the development process to be ongoing. We want the manufacturing to be ongoing. We don't want you to stop after the tax holiday period. We want that you should on-go for the manufacturing process. So what they want you to invest your profits. Government says कि 10 years हो गए, now you have sufficient profits. You're not paying tax also. Transfer the profits to a reserve account. And that reserve account should be named as Special Economic Zone SEZ Reinvestment Reserve Account. Special Economic Zone Reinvestment Reserve Account. Now, as the name suggests, it is an SCZ का reserve account, which is for reinvestment. Reinvestment means continue the investment. Invest करते रहो. जो profits निकाला उसको reinvest करो business में. Profits निकला reinvest करो business में. That is called the reinvestment reserve account. Now, as the name suggests, you have to take your profit, transfer to the reserve to reinvest into the business. How do you have to reinvest it? You have to reinvest it within the 3 years from creating the reserve, by acquiring any plant or machinery which is first put to use. First put to use means it should not be a second-hand one. It should be first put to use within 3 years from creating the reserve, because government does not want the unit to be shut after taking the tax holiday. So they wanted that they invest it in a reserve. That reserve is investing in the plant and machinery again. Because 10 साल तक तो plant and machinery also get obsolete. So invested in new technology, invested into the plant and machinery from 3 years, but 3 years तक ये period of investment is with, or period of reinvestment is within 3 years from creating that reserve. If you do not do it, whatever profits you claim it as deduction would be treated as your income, and it would be treated as your income once that 3-year period is over. If you misutilize that profits, if you're utilizing it for some other purposes, like you gave the dividend, you remitted outside India, you created any asset which is not allowed, then also the year in which you misutilize it, the deductions which you have claimed would become your income. Deductions which you have claimed in these last 5 years would become your income. Okay, the idea is clear. Now, let's understand few more things. How do you calculate the profit? आपको क्वेश्चन क्या दिया होगा? टोटल टर्नओवर दिया होगा कंपनी का. ओके, वो टोटल टर्नओवर SCZ यूनिट, नॉन SCZ यूनिट का हो सकता है. SCZ यूनिट में एक्सपोर्ट्स का हो सकता है एंड डोमेस्टिक का हो सकता है. ठीक है, export turnover, domestic turnover, that comes to total turnover. I would be given total profit, so it becomes very easy. If I have to calculate the profit which is coming from SCZ, how will I calculate the profit of that particular total profit upon my export turnover into export turnover upon my total turnover? Simple unitary method. मेरे को total profit दिया हुआ है, I need to calculate export profit. Total profit में से export profit निकालना है, तो total profit into export turnover upon में total turnover. Simple. But turnover में कभी भी, since it's an export turnover, you might get freight as income, you might get telecommunication charges as income, you might get insurances as income. These are not to be included in the term turnover. इसके लिए there is a clarification also. Now let's do one question and you will get more clarity. Y Limited furnishes the following information for the year ended 31st March 2023. Total turnover of Unit A located in Special Economic Zone is 100. Profit of the business of Unit A is 30. Export turnover of Unit A is 50. Total turnover of Unit B located in Domestic Tariff Area 200. Profit of the Unit B is 20. Okay. Compute the deduction allowed. See here the word deduction is used. Okay. Under section 10AA for assessment year 23-24, assuming that Y Limited commenced operation in SCZ and DTAA in the year 1819. So would you like to give it a try of first of all how to calculate the export profit for the assessment year 23-24? First, let's calculate that. And whenever you're doing such type of questions, please give your explanation of why you are doing it, as per what section you are doing it, what does the section says, okay? So assessment year 23-24 के लिए first of all calculate the export profit. How much is the export profit? Unit A है and this is Unit B. This is Unit B, this is Unit A. Then Unit A में okay. This is the total turnover, which is export and normal. So I have to calculate now the profit from export turnover. Now profit of total is given to me. Total profit of SCZ unit is given to me, which is coming from this 100. So I have to calculate my export profit, which is 30 into 50 by 100. Simply total profit into export turnover by total turnover, which comes to 15 lakhs. Anything which is given for unit B is not relevant for me because 10AA deduction is only for SCZ units, not for DTA units. Okay. Number one, this part is clear? Clear. Now we are talking about financial year, assessment year 23-24, which is your previous year 22-23. The manufacturing began in previous year 1890. Now on which year of tax holiday he is here? 1819, 1920, 2021, 21-22, 22-23. Sorry, there's some mistake. 1819, 1920, 2021, 21-22, 22-23. So he's in the fifth year. He's in the fifth year of the. He's in the fifth year of the production, basically. Hence, 100%. 100% of such 15 lakhs would be allowed as deduction. Had it been sixth year, then 7.5 lakhs would have been allowed as deduction. Is this clear? Any queries of how the turnover came? Yes, Devesh, unit B is only given to confuse you. Yes, Aslam. See, accounting concept is different. Special economic reserves goes obviously in the reserves account, but you have to use that special economic reserve for special economic reinvestment reserve for reinvesting. If you do not reinvest, you will not get whatever benefits you have claimed would be reversed as profits, which would be taxable. Students, one more thing, always remember, if the income is exempt, उसका losses also would be exempt. अगर टैक्स इनकम को टैक्स नहीं कर रहे तो उसके लॉस का बेनिफिट भी नहीं लोगे. इफ यू आर नॉट टैक्सिंग द इनकम, उसके लॉस का बेनिफिट वुड आल्सो नॉट बी अलाउड. प्रीटी ऑब्वियस, राइट? With this concept, we came to a concept called restriction. If the expenditure is in relation to the investments, जिसका income is not taxable, जिसका income is not taxable, then certain percentage of that investment should also not be, that certain percentage of that investment should also be disallowed. So how do you calculate it? One is directly related expenditure has to be disallowed. Then at the same time, you will calculate 1% of the monthly average का total average, monthly average का annual average of investments का 1% would be disallowed. So suppose some investment is being standard, जिससे कुछ income which is coming is not taxable. So that investment का 1%, that investment का 1% would also be disallowed. 1% would be calculated of investment based on the annual average, based on the monthly average, which is coming from opening and closing. Uska part would also be disallowed. Now, this is very difficult for you to understand right now because there is no question to give it for. But remember, any expenditure which is there in direct relation to exempt income would be disallowed. Also, investment ka 1%. Also, investment ka 1%. 1% of the investment ka value, which is based on the annual average, based on ultimately of the monthly average, would be disallowed. So total expenditure would be disallowed. This amount can not exceed about the amount which is claimed by the SSC. And you cannot say that income nahi hua, so disallowance should not happen. No, if expenditure is there, the disallowance would happen. Now, this is a very typical section for you to understand it for the time being. Just give it a read, it would be clear. Why video is buffering? Tech person, is the video lagging again? Is there any technical glitch again? Am I audible now? Am I audible? There was a buffering पहले क्या? So section 14A का disallowance is for, section 14 is a disallowance section. What is disallowance? Basically, disallowance is if you have claimed something which is not allowed, which is not allowed. Claimed मतलब आपने किसी चीज का deduction हुई है, which is not allowed. So then disallowance comes. Then disallowance comes. So if you have claimed an expenditure for an income which is exempt, that would not be allowed, which is directly related to it. Also, indirect expenditure के लिए they have come up with a percentage. That percentage is 1% of how, what? 1% of the annual average. Annual average of what? Annual average of the monthly average of the opening and the closing balances. So suppose investment है जिसका income exempt है, okay? एक investment है जिसका income exempt है. Now every month the opening and closing का average I will take, and then I will sum it up. 12 averages will come, divided by 12 annual average would come. So annual average ka 1% would also be disallowed. So if the assessee has claimed 5 lakh rupees as expenditure for an exempt income, so one directly related expenditure would be directly disallowed, and second, this percentage would be directly disallowed up till 5 lakh rupees. You cannot say that you have not earned the exempt income during the year, hence no disallowance should come. No, if there's an expenditure, the disallowance in relation to this would definitely come. Then someone asked me about amalgamation and demerger. First of all, this section SEZ wala jo hai 10AA, this exempt deduction is allowed to the assessee who's into manufacturing. If tomorrow I have sold my business, then the successor would get it. Or if the amalgamation or demerger happens, then the resultant company, which is an amalgamated company, or the resultant company in case of demerger, will claim the deduction, not the amalgamating or the demerged unit. जो नया entity born हुआ है, they will claim the deduction in the year when amalgamation or demerger takes place. पुराना entity will not claim the deduction in the years when amalgamation or demerger takes place. Clear? With this, Priyanka, we have covered the topic. In case you have any queries, you can ask. I'm here for 5 minutes to resolve all your queries. Thank you for being so patient. There was some technical glitch at the back end. Still, you people came in and put in all the efforts, and because of that technical glitch, I just went to some other topic for the urban land. I hope that is also clear. Farm building wala part. Rohit's extremely valid question. In that case, tax holiday would begin from 2021. Now, if someone asks me what is very important from this particular chapter, I say undoubtedly agricultural income, partial integration of agricultural income, section 10AA. These two things are extremely important. Sorry. So these, Kavita, I think next month the class schedule would be updated by this week. Ten BB. Sure. Any other query? किसी का कोई query unresolved रह गया, so you can ask right now again. Page number 3.12 पे क्या query है असलम? 1 second. क्या बताना असलम यहाँ पे? Very good question, Ramachandra. Profit जिस साल में है, you will claim the reduction in that particular year. Loss you can carry it forward. Always remember, deduction से कभी भी loss नहीं आ सकता. Exemptions and deduction से net result cannot be loss. It can be zero, but it can never be the loss. No, if a person is going to Sikkim, very good question, Jia Kanakhani. If a person is going to Sikkim and doing some business in Sikkim, that will not be exempt income. You have to be Sikkimese individual, Sikkimese resident. Income of Sikkimese person reside. See, Sikkimese individual are the person who are born in Sikkim. So if you're staying outside Sikkim but you're having income from Sikkim, you would be exempt. Okay. Rasharan, please, for the detail for Sukanya Samriddhi, you can refer to any of the websites of the bank websites. They will give you monthly payment necessary nahi hai. It's about what the scheme which you go for. Yeah, if you've suffered a loss in 1 year, Alok, very valid question again. That year would be counted. It has to be from the first previous year in which the assessment, in which the production began to the 15th year. बीच में कोई ऐसे break नहीं ले सकते. No, the consecutivity has to be followed. Ten BB. So we did not even covered. How is there a doubt coming from it, Jia Kanakhani? Mohammad Aslam, this is for you. Please pay attention. Any farm building which is located in a cantonment area, first of all, the farm building should be on an immediate vicinity of land, and that land should be assessed to the land revenue authorities or should be assessed by local rates by the government. Number one. Number two, if the land is not assessed to the land revenue authority, it should not be in a area where the population of the municipality cantonment board is 10,000 or more. Less than 10,000 है चलेगा. Municipality or cantonment board का population 10,000 से ज़्यादा है. If the population is of more than 10,000, then the land should not be situated in that area. And also along with that, 2 kilometers ka range from that cantonment area, maybe the land should not be situated. If the land is situated and the farm building is on that land, it would not be an agricultural income from that farm building I'm talking about. Also, uske baad, if the municipality cantonment board ka population is more than 10,000 but is up to 1 lakh, then 2 kilometers wala population ka area has to 2 kilometers wala area would also qualify as a disqualification area. Okay? If the population is of more than 1 lakh but is up to 10 lakh, kiska? Municipality board ka. Then 6 kilometers ki range ke andar, if land is there, it would disqualify and for the farm building to become an agricultural income. If the municipality board or cantonment area ka population is of more than 10 lakhs, then 8 kilometers wala area also from the municipality board would qualify as a disqualification area. That means any land situated here and the farm building of such land would not qualify as agricultural income. The farm building, I'm not talking about the agricultural income altogether being disallowed if the cultivation is happening in such land. No, I'm talking about the farm building on such land would not be qualified for agricultural income. Uske baad, students, please study it once. You will definitely get all the questions. I'm definitely sure about it. राजचरण एक बारी करोगे पक्का से आ जाएगा. Correct. Only the amount transferred to the special economic reserve reinvestment reserve account में जो profit transfer हुए मुर्ताजा, only those profits would be allowed as deduction provided it is up to 50% of the limit. So 50% or the profit transfer to the reserve account, whichever is lower. Bagela, just mark this point as In fact, 30 point and fifth point and sixth point on page number 3.30. Igbari, once you are clear with the PJBP chapter, you will read it. It would be clear. Abhi ke liye you can mark it as come back to the point wala part. Which book, on which page GR Khankarani, the topic is there. So students, I'm again saying May 23 ke liye certain exemptions have been removed. Please refer to the latest version which of study material. Priyanka, we are done with the topic. There is no more questions. Do not worry. Okay, so can we wrap up the class? I wish you all all the best. Please do not worry. You will get the hold of it. You are doing the tax for the first time. Again, I'm saying it is a new door altogether. It's a new journey altogether. And take that journey step by step. Once you are done through it, you have to revisit step one again to make sure that the understanding and the base which you have built up till now is absolutely clear on that. Mohammad Aslam, land subject to the land revenue authorities होती है, या तो वो उस एरिया का land revenue ले रहे हो या local rate ले रहे हो. Otherwise you have to go to the municipality cante board and population wala criteria. If the land revenue is being taken that they are qualifying it as such, then farm building or such land would be considered or eligible for agricultural income to be exempt. No need to say sorry, Kanakani. Thank you so much, everyone. All the best. Take care. Sir, class over.